Welcome everyone. Today it's a pleasure to have Sascha Hoffmann here, a very experienced marketing consultant. Welcome Sascha.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your background, Sascha?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a marketing consultant focusing on demand generation. I'm doing this like self-employed for like 4 years now. Before that, I was working in Silicon Valley in a startup, like leading demand generation for them. And then, when COVID hit, I kind of thought it's time to move on and go on new adventures. So I became basically a freelancer / consultant and traveled a little bit the world, like as a digital nomad. Now I'm from Germany originally. I'm now based in Germany as well.
Nice. Okay. You've been a digital nomad in Thailand and South America, right?
Yeah, so mainly in Thailand. I stayed there for like 2 years. And then South America, I was kind of traveling last year for like 4 months. Basically working from the road, but like slow traveling, I want to say. Was definitely a great experience. Really had to learn how to prioritize things. Normally when you work like 8-hour days and then you don't have that and no stable internet connection, sometimes you're off the grid for like 4 days or something. It's challenging. It's not like super crazy challenging, but it's a new experience. When I was there, I basically had a visa agency, and I didn't stay 2 years in a row, to be fair. But I had the first time when I went there was still during COVID, and Thailand allowed to basically renew your tourist visa for 60 days at a time. And I could do this for, 5 or 6 times. And then the second time, I then basically went 3 months back to Germany. And when I got back to Thailand, I got a 1-year visa through a visa agency. But now I believe Thailand is one of the countries in Southeast Asia that allows like a digital nomad visa. So I think it's now easier to do this.
Did you have a 9-to-5 job before that?
Yeah, before, basically after I left the US, I just went back to Germany for a little bit to set up my business. Like I'm all registered in Germany and everything, like German taxpayer. And then when I went to Thailand, I basically was in the ramp up period of my self-employment journey, if you will. So before it was 9 to 6 job, 5 days a week, and then obviously it changed a lot. My client base was or still is very much North America focused. So the time difference was obviously a big change and shift. So working and having meetings until midnight in Thailand was like every week essentially. So it's not like the digital nomads life that everybody thinks is like, just sit by the beach and drink pina coladas.
Nah.
It's like you work as everybody else, just a little bit different times. For me, it's similar, like the freedom, I can do whatever I want when I want it. I definitely work more than my 40 hours a week, but I feel not as stressed because I'm like, normally I start also quite late, like 9 a.m. ish, maybe like 8:30. Work a little bit in the morning, get my ducks in a row for the day essentially, and work on the business and not in the business. And then after client calls and whatever, it's like usually in the afternoon, sometimes a little later in the early evenings, I want to say. I manage now to have less calls overall, especially my ongoing client base. It's more like, I do my work and have check-ins, of course, but it's not like I'm not as a consultant really, like just I don't bill hourly, and it's not my business model where I'm just talking to people. So I basically deliver throughout the day, and then have occasionally check-ins. So I'm flexible on when I do things. And so it's, if I feel like I need to take a break, or I want to go for a walk or for a run or whatever, I just do as I want.
Yeah, exactly. You just do whatever you want. I love that. What has been the biggest game changer for your business in the past year?
Honestly, moving back to Germany, having more of a routine. I'm back in my childhood house. Like I moved in with my mom. Like being 10 years away essentially from family. Like it's kind of refreshing to be home as well. And I've come from a very small village, and like I'm fully back in the village lifestyle, if you will, right? I joined the local football team and all that stuff. So like you have like your friends and club duties that now I schedule around, right? I mean, it's still US work times when I go to football practice, like a couple of times a week, and but just scheduling around. And then so it is a big change to have like this change of scenery, and now I would say like really routine, especially compared to when I was traveling to South America. Like I didn't have a routine, right? I was like every day essentially somewhere else. It sounds a little bit more than it is, of course I stayed like in Lima for a week and whatnot, but having this home base now is a change.
What is the one mistake you made in the past year that you learned a valuable lesson from?
I procrastinated a little bit. So there are things where I always kept saying like, oh, I do this when this is ready, and I do this then. So for example, I'm still in the process of rebuilding my website, launching another, I want to say productized service. I'm already doing it, but really official launching it as a service and like, market it, I haven't done. And there's for example, we talked a lot about like we've been in touch for like 3 months or so to get on this podcast maybe. And there are like things like I had to renovate this room, right? I mean, the background was like my old, like, child wallpaper.
Oh yeah, I remember in the first call. I remember you telling me. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, I kind of put a lot of things on hold where I think, I could have worked around, like, maybe launch a website without doing a video on it to explain things, right? And but it is how it is. I mean, it's not that I just sat around and like didn't do anything. Like there was always something else, but I could have done working more on the business again instead of in the business. I would say it was a little bit of a mistake.
All right, I see. Is there a question you get asked most often about your business?
The biggest questions I get is often, I mean, I turn down a lot of clients, not because like maybe I also outgrew them, but a lot of them I do expectation management. So like they have like, because I'm a freelancer / consultant, right? I mean, I do both. I do strategy, but also I'm in the weeds and like do Google ad campaigns or do the SEO, right? So people come to me and ask me like, oh, I have $500. Like, how can I do a LinkedIn campaign? And then I need to educate them a lot about like, hey, look, that doesn't make any sense. Like, or like if they are e-com and they want to do like on LinkedIn as a B2B marketplace, like network to sell like office chairs or whatever. And like I just educate a lot of people and like manage essentially their expectation. I think that's the most common theme I get on questions. I rarely have like where people are, I mean, now people ask me like, what do I do? Like my family, they can't grab their head around, that I can work from Thailand. Like they don't understand what it means to work digitally. They don't understand digital marketing. My mom finally starts to get a little bit what I do, but most people think I build websites, but I'm not a web developer.
Would you give a piece of advice to your younger self starting out as an entrepreneur?
Like, do it, like, I mean, it's never that I thought about not doing it, but I mean, now I never want to go back and work for anyone else. I do think it was good that I also tested a lot, like smaller things, like, you know, some side projects where I'm like, learned a lot, but I think I could have been a little bit more focused on certain things, like a little bit more tangible. Like I built some like small websites, you know, to like blogs to monetize through, you know, ads and stuff. I mean, I used it. I'm doing SEO as well, like as a service. So I'm using those a lot as a test ground for new tactics and things. But I spent quite a lot of time on those websites early on. Now I think it's still good, but maybe I shouldn't have done, or maybe I shouldn't have subscribed to all these technologies to test them. Especially when AI was fairly new. I tested all these AI things because I guess it was a hype, but it developed so fast that all these platforms are like irrelevant nowadays. I think it was good at the time, but I think also, like, you know, could have focused my time and also not have spent on some subscriptions.
Yeah, I understand.
And maybe one thing actually now comes to mind. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Don't do annual subscriptions for platforms. You know, like sometimes when you get to like an AI platform, right? And I bought the annual subscription plan to have basically cheaper on a per month basis. But at the end, like after half a year, I kind of used new tools, not that tool anymore. So I kind of was sitting on the cost regardless. So I would have been better off to just pay a little bit more for the flexibility and then cancel after, you know, 6 months, instead of having 6 months to pay for it where you don't really use it.
Right, let's dive into the bonus section. There I'll say a word or a phrase, and you must reply with the first thought that comes to your mind, one word if possible, and then we explain later. Okay? First one.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Flexibility.
Nice. Marketing.
Passion.
Sales.
Necessary.
Digital nomad.
Flexibility.
International marketing experiences.
Important.
Attention.
Currency.
Nice. And last one, a question. Mindset or skill?
Mindset.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. So entrepreneurship, flexibility, right?
We design our own days, you know, when to work, where to work, how to work, who to work with. You, of course, you have some ceilings, but at the end of the day, you know, like you can decide on, oh, do I take on another project? Is it worth it? Do I charge more? Do I charge less? Do I want to help them? You know, no one tells you like you have to work on that project, and also not when, and again, where, right? I mean, I can, I guess it depends a little bit on solo entrepreneurship. You can do whatever. But I mean, entrepreneurship is like also a bigger scale, right? I mean, if you're Elon Musk, who's also an entrepreneur, like his flexibility is a little different than the both of us.
Of course, yeah. You went down the path as a digital nomad and you're struggling to find clients. You are in a couple of communities, maybe Fiverr, one of those communities. You are looking actively on Instagram and LinkedIn, doing cold outreach, warm outreach, email marketing, all of that stuff. But you can't seem to find clients. What would you say to such a hard-working person who can't find clients?
It's tough, to be honest. I've never been in that situation. I've been lucky from the get-go. I had like 4 clients before I even started, really. And especially in the beginning, all my clients were referral based. I think the big misconception that people have is they always need to have, 500 clients or whatever. Like in reality, I mean, it depends on the services. If you do like dog walking for $15 an hour, you need a lot of dogs to walk. But if you're in the marketing space, I mean, of course you can do, like, if you're a logo designer and you design $5 Fiverr logos, different story. You need to hustle and get always new business. But in the marketing space, just a couple of clients that are, good clients are enough, essentially, right? So, of course, it's not to make, like Dubai lifestyle Lamborghini or whatever, but it's definitely enough for me personally, right? I guess another word for entrepreneurship could have been money, but flexibility is, what I basically say is, like, you can always take on more and more clients, but then you lose the time flexibility. So in that case, I guess it's everyone's choice on how much work you take on. And yeah, I don't have the best answer. I'm not the best person to answer your initial question on like what to do if you don't have any clients. Maybe then this is not for you. Your business is maybe not right, because if you don't get any clients, maybe your service or offering is just not good.
What about attention? You said currency.
I think, I wear my marketing hat here, right? I mean, attention means in so many ways, like, you gotta be found first in order to be considered. So that means, like, someone needs to find your website if they are looking for a solution, right? That potentially means you need to push the right message to the right people on like social media. And basically the attention becomes the currency. I mean, that's essentially what people pay for, right? When they do advertising. Like, true. Coca-Cola does this, right? Sponsorships and whatever. Like, this is all getting attention of the customer. So, and people say, like, because we have less and less attention span, because there's so many messages that are around us nowadays, with smartphones and true, everything around us, branding everywhere, that attention is the biggest currency. I'm all good. Thank you very much for having me. It was very fun. It's also usually when people ask me, like, it's more about like marketing tactics, so it's fun to talk a little bit, one step back about it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much again for being here, and that was Sascha Hoffmann, ladies and gentlemen.